Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Just Another Talk, and welcome to 2025. This is our first episode of the year, which technically would have been our second episode of the year, but while recording the first episode, which was going to be about the terrorist attack in New Orleans on New Year's Eve, I came across a secondary story, which also happened, I would say about 10 hours difference from the New Orleans attack. There was the explosion of the Tesla Cybertruck that happened in Las Vegas outside of a Trump Tower. I was thinking, okay, I can do a combined episode about these two things that seemingly happen on two completely different sides of the United States, but seem to have some similarities. Until I started digging into what happened in Las Vegas. And as I began to dig and formulate the information I was going to use for this episode, Sean Ryan drops an episode that I suggest everybody watches. It was something I wasn't expecting, and I'm going to tell you right now, it completely changed my mind, and it could change my perspective of which way I was going with the story. At least it changed the idea I had of the story, because I guess at this point in time, nobody really knows. Really, we're waiting for law enforcement officials to give us more details.
Sam Shoemate, welcome to the show, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm nervous about this one.
Yeah, me too.
I'm really nervous about this one. So yesterday I come into work and our stuff's been exploding because of the Sarah Adams, had Sarah Adams, Scott Mann, legend, did an interview with Masood, kind of warning everybody about it's going to be a lot of terrorism here in 2025. Didn't take long. Jan 1, it hit. And, it's interesting. We couldn't get any mainstream media's outlets to pay attention to those interviews. And nobody would really give Sarah a voice. Now everybody wants to give Sarah a voice because, oh, guess what? The fucking CIA targeter was actually right.
First, I want to start off with, who is Sean Ryan? To put it in simplest terms, Sean Ryan is a total badass, right? He's like the Gerard Butler of every action movie that Gerard Butler has ever made.
It's very much a work hard, play hard environment, but if you can't play hard and work hard the next morning, you're not going to make it.
My guy was a Navy SEAL. He was contracted by the CIA, and he also worked in Colombia, and not on our team, during, I guess you could say, the narco wars. So this man has a bevy of experiences. If you've never watched his channel or his show, he is the host of the Sean Ryan Show, and it is something that I suggest you watch. He brings on people who've been through things that, unless you've experienced these things or know someone who has, you probably wouldn't believe some of the shit that these guys have been through. More specifically, the fact that a lot of these guys have served our country and have put themselves through hell in order for us to have the freedoms we have. I said it. Black Twitter, crucify me later. The explosion that happened outside of the Trump Tower in Las Vegas was, when first reported, conducted by a gentleman called Matthew Littlesberg, or Littlesberg. I don't know how to say that. Regardless, this gentleman was a Green Beret. Now, if you know anything about Green Berets, they're also total badasses. The Green Beret requirements are pretty much insane to get in. I mean, they're not impossible, obviously, because we have Green Berets, but Green Beret is one of the highest levels you can achieve in the military. The initial reports of the explosion of the Cybertruck, it was a terrorist attack, and, judging by the fact that it happened in front of judging by the fact that it happened in front of Trump Towers, a lot of people were saying, the dude did it in a Cybertruck, which is Elon's car. Elon's partnered up with Trump. The American people are trying to send a message to Trump. Then you find out the name of Matthew Littlesberger and the fact that he was not only a Green Beret, but he was also on the History's Channel Ultimate Soldier.
That pits teams of elite soldiers from around the world against each other.
Matt and Tim, from the U.S. Army Special Forces, better known as the Green Berets.
Matthew Littlesberger and his partner Tim Kennedy, both Green Berets, appeared on the Ultimate Soldier Challenge 12 years ago on the History Channel,
where him and his partner, a two-man team, went up against other countries' two-man team. And by all intents and purposes, they waxed them. Kind of like America pretty much waxes in all competitions, except for the NBA, of course. I did some Googling about him. I've seen a few videos. One of the videos that I'm really interested in was the Inside Edition interview that his partner from the Ultimate Soldier TV show had said about him.
12 hours of me seeing some photos as more photos started coming out of who he was. And then I saw a Matt Berg with a older photo of him, and I was like, oh no, dude, I know that guy. And then it just like tore my heart out because he was a really great Green Beret.
And what was he like?
He was charming, he was talented, he was personable, he was kind, he was all the things that you would expect from a Green Beret.
At one point during the show, Livelsberger had to stop taping in the 90-plus degree heat. He was suffering from heat exhaustion.
Jump up, throw, man. I hate exhaustion, man. I need to take the off right now.
Tim Kennedy says he hadn't heard from Livelsberger for a few years.
It just categorically does not make sense. From everything that I have heard, he was universally valued by his team, by his peers. I don't understand. It doesn't make sense, and it is just horrifically heartbreaking.
As you can see, he talks about him in a very glowing manner. Charismatic, good guy. You would never think this guy would do that. After watching the Sean Ryan show and the episode about how Matthew had contacted multiple people, multiple news outlets, he had sent multiple emails stating that there was something he wanted to talk about, which was an incident that happened in 2019. This was essentially covered up, right? Which is at least the perspective I'm gathering from the description that that Sean Ryan gives on his show.
We pulled a report. This is from October 9th, 2019. UN report find alleged drug facilities were not lawful target airstrikes caused significant civilian casualty.
The email he sends to this gentleman is extremely descriptive. Not only descriptive, but it just makes sense. Matthew had multiple clearances. He had worked in drone intelligence as well as, if I'm not mistaken, drone building. He just knew the overall mechanics of drones.
This email came in on December 31st at 10:42 a.m. That is Tuesday. He said, in case I do not make it to my decision point or onto the Mexico border, I am sending this now. Please do not release this until 1 January and keep my identity private until then. First off, I'm not under duress or hostile influence or control. My first car was a 2006 black Ford Mustang V6 for verification. What we have been seeing with drones, he puts that in quotes, he says drones, is the operational use of gravitic propulsion systems powered aircraft by most recently in the East Coast, but throughout history, the US. Only we in have this capability. Our OPSEN, that's Operations Center, our OPSEN location for this activity is in the box below. Has been launching them from the Atlantic from submarines for years, but this activity recently has picked up. As of now, it is just a show of force, and they are using it similar to how they used the balloon for SIGINT and ISR, which are also part of the integrated comms system. There are dozens of those balloons in the air at any given time. The so what is because of the speed and stealth of these unmanned aircraft. They are the most dangerous threat to national security that has ever existed. They basically have an unlimited payload capacity and can park it over the White House if they wanted. It's checkmate.
The way he's speaking in this email, it sounds pretty believable. Not to mention that then you have drones that have been witnessed over New Jersey, and we all know the drone spectacle that's been going on over the last couple of weeks. He's spoken highly about in the community, in the military community. So if this man who has the training, who could have built something, who could have built a boomstick big enough to level Trump Towers if he really wanted to, he chose to put in gas canisters, fireworks, and then put it in a Cybertruck, which is probably the most durable car that is out on the road at the moment. If he really wanted to do something that would have caused mass casualties, he could have. He had the information, he had the knowledge, and he knew how to act upon it, but he didn't. If you guys like what we do here, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to support us a bit further, don't forget, we have a merch store, and we have hats up on the merch store. Go get yourself a dad hat. I know you guys see me wearing the t-shirts. Go get yourself a t-shirt. Until next time.